Welcome to the Purposely Aligned Entrepreneur Podcast presented by Boss Girl Creative. This is episode number 460. Today, I'm talking about pivoting. Now let's dive in. Have you already found business success but feel lonely at the top? Or do you feel like you're at a place in your business where others just don't get it? Or maybe you feel like you have to make yourself smaller in order for others to not feel less than. Or maybe just a little bit of all three. But with all that said, there is good news because I've been there and I see you, sister. I'm Taylor Bradford, the torchbearer of this podcast and sisterhood, and I'm here to lead and inspire you to stay purposely aligned in the success you have found and provide you with support, guidance, and a sisterhood to keep going. Because I do get it. Your business journey isn't meant to be traveled alone. So grab a notebook, your favorite pen, and a bevy, and let's dive into this together with this latest podcast episode. Welcome to the Purposely Aligned Entrepreneur Podcast presented by Boss Girl Creative and me. Hello, welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Bradford. Thank you so much for being here. Today, I'm talking about pivoting and why I'm pivoting, not with this show, but with that social experiment. And I can't wait to tell you what's been going on behind the scenes and just to give you some overall updates about the various businesses. And don't forget, I have a 90-day undated planner available to purchase. The paperback version is currently available. Pop over to bossgirlcreative.com/BGC planner to take a peek at it and purchase your first copy or maybe your second copy. It's undated, so you can start it wherever you want to, and it has a focus of daily gratitudes, your daily affirmations, and then also your task and to-do list. And then after a full month of using it or a partial month, then there is also a monthly reflection page, which just kind of helps continue to propel you forward in your life, in your journeys. So grab yourself a copy, go to bossgirlcreative.com/BGC planner. All right, let's find out what's been going on in social media land. Let's get into this week's social media headlines. Social media headline number 1, TikTok is launching a new ad campaign to oppose the sell-off bill. TikTok continues to use its influence to alleviate concerns about its influence. Social media headline number 2, Instagram is testing a blend feed for private content sharing. Instagram continues to lean into this space of private engagement within the app. Social media headline number 3, Elon Musk says users with a lot of verified followers will get free check marks. Elon's still trying to make verification great again. And finally, a new report suggests that X usage has declined 30% year over year. Another third-party report shows that X usage is in decline. And that wraps up this week's social media headlines. Okay, so let's get into this week's episode, which is about pivoting. But first, 2 things that I have to ask. Did you see any great April Fool's jokes played out on social media yesterday? And also, I'm really curious about whether or not you're using Threads. Since X is being reported by multiple third parties as usage being down, are you using Threads? Because I know that I haven't opened the app since it basically started. And I'm curious who's using Threads and who's still using X and what that means for kind of rapid fire discussions between people. So it's just very curious. But I have to know, did you see any incredible April Fool's jokes pulled off? Yesterday, when I was scrolling through my Instagram feed on one of my accounts, I did see my alma mater playing the biggest April Fool's joke they had the chancellor on camera, and he was very somber, and he was basically like, this is just the need of the school, and we are pivoting, and, it's been 150 years with this mascot, and we've decided to choose a different mascot. And then the next one I see later in the day, and that really didn't faze me as being a joke because I didn't fully get into seeing that it was about the mascot. I honestly thought he was saying he was retiring. And then I saw Super Frog. So I graduated from Texas Christian University, and I saw Super Frog, our mascot, which is a horned frog, basically resigning as mascot and giving way to the squirrel. And the moment that I read squirrel, I was like, this is the best April Fool's joke. Not only did they get the chancellor in on it, but Super Frog is resigning, and the new mascot is the squirrel because the campus has a bajillion squirrels, and I'm sure most campuses do. And Super Frog is now declaring for the 2024 NFL draft, and we should all support him. So I thought that was a fantastic April Fool's joke. And so talk about pivoting, pivoting to a fake mascot, the squirrel. That's kind of where we're at with some of the things I'm doing with the social experiment. So if you've been on this journey with me since I decided to tell you about the social experiment, and if not, you're going to need to go backwards to some episodes starting back in January. But yeah, so the social experiment. So I started that first account back in middle January, early January. I don't really recall the exact date. And I was following specific strategy and testing whether or not any parts of it could be replicated. And I got myself all the way till March 28th, which was last week, and decided that no longer served me, that strategy no longer served me. And I want to say why. Because here's the thing. The strategy that these women were teaching had no backbone. Absolutely no business foundation, nothing about their why, nothing about their purpose. They definitely weren't in alignment. They were legit telling people to throw spaghetti noodles at the wall and just keep going until one sticks. And the one that sticks is Instagram's algorithm, basically making you uber viral to gain a large amount of followers so that then you can start selling. And if that strategy was legitimately used in somebody's brand new business venture, they would not make money for a really long time. And it's just not smart business strategy. But because it was an experiment and I was testing their strategy, I legitimately gave it my all. And let me tell you, for over 60 days, I posted 3 reels a day and got very little traction. And the strategy, by just talking about side hustles and remote jobs, that was the strategy. And picking a trending audio, that was also the strategy. And waiting for Instagram to do its thing. And it literally comes down to luck. Like, did you pick the right audio? And is Instagram going to pick you up? So I did that strategy full speed ahead for 60 solid days, actually probably a little bit more. And then was like, you know what? This doesn't give me the opportunity to tell my story. This does not give me the opportunity to connect with anybody that is seeing this reel. It is just me sharing about a side hustle and a remote job that I am not personally doing myself, trying to get people who are looking for ways to make money online to follow me. It is a crappy business strategy. But I was like, you know what? This is what these girls are teaching, even though within their private mentorship groups that I was paying for because I wanted to see from their mouths what they were actually saying to do. And the frustration of so many of their students saying, I'm frustrated, this isn't working. And they respond with, just keep going. Just keep going. One day the Instagram algorithm will work in your favor. That is not how you set a business up for success. But like I said, I was doing this experiment to see what parts were able to be replicated. And that part wasn't. Trending audio, yes. trending audio is truly one big key to Reels success on Instagram. But that particular strategy of posting remote jobs and side hustles was not. And so March the 7th is when I officially started pivoting my content. Now, I was still dripping in some of that side hustle and remote job stuff every couple of reels just to, again, I didn't want to fully abandon that strategy because I was still very curious, even though I knew it was working against my soul that I couldn't sell. And if you're in business, truly in business, and you want to do this thing for a long haul, you have to have the ability to sell the thing that you're trying to sell, the thing that you spent so much time making or curating or, whatever it might be. So that was very soul-sucking for me, is to test that strategy. But you know what? The experiment required me to do so because I really wanted to see what parts could be replicated. And so I started pivoting my content on March 7th, and I began to do more storytelling. I still felt that I wasn't 100% authentic in those attempts because I didn't feel like I was still having any connection with anyone. And I've struggled with that here on the podcast, having connection. All you hear is my voice. And until you have an opportunity to be one-on-one with me or, being in the same room with me, there is a literal difference between hearing me and then just being with me. And so this space, the podcast space, even though you can hear the passion in my voice and you can hear my business journeys, there's still a disconnect. And I've struggled with that for a really long time. And I was struggling with that on that first account. So I started sprinkling in more storytelling because that is where you become or create a connection with a potential customer or a potential follower. It's magnetic messaging. It is the content that you decide to create to support the thing that you do. And I wasn't able to do that with these random remote jobs and side hustles. And it worked against everything that I teach on this podcast. But again, social experiment. So we continued until I just was okay, I'm done waiting for luck. And now it's time to put some real business strategy behind this. And so I'm not kidding when I say I made another pivot 5 days ago. So today marks day 5. 5 days ago, I pivoted again and went faceless on this account. Now, with this particular account, I would classify it as a hybrid account because my face is still in the profile circle. And if you scroll down, you're going to still see my face because I'm not going to archive those reels. But now it is a fully faceless account. And let me tell you, 4 days before I made the decision to pivot, I was maybe I actually screenshot the number. I was reaching 140 accounts 4 days prior to my pivot. So I looked back 4 days, March 24th to March 27th. And then I pivoted on the 28th, and 4 days in, so effective yesterday, 4 days in, I hit 2,500 accounts. I reached 2,500 accounts pivoting to a faceless account. And if that doesn't tell you the power of faceless content, I don't know what does until I tell you this. On March 20th, I still hadn't made the final pivot with this account. But on March 20th, I created a fully faceless account and posted 2 reels a day. So I'm down to just 2 reels a day. Started posting 2 reels a day. And by day 11, which was yesterday, so today is day 12, by day 11, my account was reaching almost 7,500 accounts. I think it's 13 followers on that account right now, 13 followers. And yesterday, I had reached from 11 days of content nearly 7,500 accounts. And that is ultimately what finally made me decide to test out going faceless on the other account. I am blown away by this strategy. And I do think it is an effective strategy. I actually did a reel on that account where I basically said, if Lululemon, if Louis Vuitton, if Apple, if Anthropologie can all do it, so can you. And the one thing that they all have in common besides being luxury is they're faceless. Yes, they do spokespeople, and yes, they do celebrity endorsements, but those brands, every brand that you can think of, Target, Walmart, Barnes and Noble, all the brands that we like, know, and trust already are faceless. And again, occasionally they have spokespeople and they do celebrity endorsements, and they can do user-generated content from their loyal following to bring the people element into it. But it is their magnetic messaging, it is their strategic content planning, and it is the fact that they're faceless. We literally, as humans, judge something the moment we see it. It's an infallible thing about us. And I felt judged on that other account. I didn't have a shtick that you could see. I wasn't a stay-at-home mom that was just trying to provide additional revenue into the bottom line for food or extracurriculars. I don't hate my 9-to-5 job. It's not soul-sucking. Like everything that I do, I truly enjoy. That's why I work for myself as a business owner. I don't have pets, so you never got to see me showcase a pet. And my background is this giant warehouse of beautiful furniture that doesn't make a lot of sense when people are looking for some sliver of thread to connect with you. And so I felt heavily judged on that account and feel like it is primarily why it didn't grow, regardless of the throwing of the spaghetti noodles against the wall. Like, I do feel like that aspect really, truly held me back because I didn't have something that somebody could tangibly see. And maybe also it's my face. I don't know. Like, I truly felt judged. And to see my numbers drastically change within 4 days of making that switch kind of clues me in that that was a factor. And that I have a very booming faceless account that is 12 days old that now I just checked. I went into the app, and in the last 12 days, so technically today is, the beginning of day 12, I haven't put anything out yet. But if I click on it, my account has reached nearly 9,500 people. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing to think that you can put so much effort into a business with your face, because that is what we all say. We have always said people connect with humans. But do they really? People judge humans. People judge, like some of my friends that are influencers. Now, if you are an influencer, you are definitely in it for your face. Like that is the strategy. It is you that people are following. But when it comes to a brand or a teaching brand, maybe I should clarify that. A teaching brand, your face matters, and people will judge you, and that might hold you back. And that totally sucks that could be something that makes or breaks your business. That somebody is judging you based on you not having anything that they can connect with because they are ignoring the content you're putting out there. So like I said, back on March 7th, I started pivoting that content to Storytell, and I still didn't reach people. And that is so frustrating as a business owner when I know I have so much to give to you, the listener, to give to you as the late night scroller, to give to you as somebody looking for a solution. I am your solution, but I was judged. And I think that will sit with me for a little while, but onwards and upwards. We're moving forward and we're going all in on this faceless content. So with the second account, the fully faceless account, my sales funnels are all set up. I don't have my actual drip campaign set up because I'm waiting to be able to storytell and figure out how people are coming to me, what they end up buying, and then how I can best support them. With the other account, I'm still offering what I set out to offer from the beginning, which is supporting Legendary Marketer and their solid business education with their 15-day business builder challenge, and then also into the blueprints. But what I have seen out on the interwebs is that people need a beginner place to start. And Legendary, while it is so incredibly value packed, it really is meant for people that have an inkling about business. And the girls I initially followed, first of all, they don't have business sense and they are not marketing Legendary appropriately as a business education tool. They are just using it as an anchor to the fact that they've made a boat ton of money and not really providing support as to why this should be a business model and setting it up as a business model and strategizing it as a business and all of those things. And it's just lead them to the 15-day course and then hope they buy the blueprints and then be done. And then just create a mentorship group that supports that same system. And then you just have mass chaos. And Legendary wasn't built for that. It was built to teach you high income skills so that you could go into any niche and create a solid business for yourself. That's what Legendary is really about. But what I'm seeing is the people that I'm having conversations with now that I am faceless is that they need a place to start that is a little bit more bite-sized, if you will. And so on the second account, the fully faceless account, I am offering a course that has master resale rights. I have vetted the course. I think it's well created. Plus, there's a really strong founder attached to the course that's got 12 years of online experience. And I didn't have to build the course. I can lead you to the course and then I can support you through the course. But also, if you come in through my channels, I'm just going to support you regardless. And that's truly been my mission from day one. And so now that I have pivoted the original account into a hybrid faceless account, I have to redo my sales funnel, which means a newsstand store and creating more products and then having conversations with people of this is where I think you need to start. And then once you have these skills learned, then we need you to do that 15-day business builder challenge so that it opens your eyes to actually creating a strong business foundation. I'll be able to sell them my book at that point as well. And there's just a lot more growing room doing it this way. So there you have it. Pivots sometimes happen. And the fact that I had marketing statistics backing my decision to go fully faceless on the original account, and then what happened 4 days in was so mind-blowing that it was just kind of the pep in the step that I needed to be like, okay, let's regroup. We're truly going in with this method and we're going to be successful because I'm able to now have conversations with people, whereas nobody ever communicated to me, no matter how hard I tried, with the other way. And there is value. There's value in faceless content. There is value in trending audio. So if you haven't heard me say this, this is my exact strategy for trending audio. It has to be trending, first of all, that little arrow pointing up to the upper right corner. It has to have less than 1,000 uses on the audio. It has to make sense for the way I want to use it with a strong hook, or the video, a combination of the two. It has to, the original user of the audio, whether they are the artist or just the original user, has to have over 3 million views on it, plus the surrounding reels that have already used it need to be in the 20 plus thousand view range or higher, like 50,000, 60,000, 100,000. That is all a good indication that this is a really solid real audio. And then finally, going into the original user of the audio and looking to see how recent the comments were. If the comments are recent within the last couple of days, then it is still a trending audio. And that truly has been a solid foundation piece to my content. Now, I was doing this for the Face Forward account, but I was putting out crap content because I was still, like I said, experimenting, but also my face was still present, and that was working against me. So that's how I use trending audios. I think that is something for you to consider. Now, a lot of people say, look for audio that's, in the 1 million, 2 million range and has less than 10,000 uses, and then go on your merry way and use that audio. But what is working for me is exactly how I laid it out just a moment ago. All right, there's my pivot. And it's totally okay to pivot in your own business when something's not working. Business is just one gigantic experiment. What works for you may not work for others. And while there are components that may not work for you with what I'm doing currently, which is the Faceless account, there's a lot of data that I'm collecting that proves that it's working. So, but it does start with that trending audio and a Faceless account. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Again, grab my brand new planner. It's 90 days. It's undated. It gives you an opportunity to focus on gratitudes and affirmations, plus your daily task and to-do list. Go to bossgirlcreative.com/BGC planner to pick up a copy. Until next time, I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Oh, wait, before I go, thank you truly for your support of my own business journey and this podcast, The Purposely Aligned Entrepreneur. If you know another entrepreneur who is in the same business trenches, who has already found success but might be feeling a bit lonely in their journey, my hope is that you'll share this podcast and this sisterhood with them. Because this, what we do day in and day out, isn't meant to be done alone. Speaking of lonely, if you're ready to squash the business journey loneliness, stop what you're doing right now and join the sisterhood. Visit bossgirlcreative.com/sisterhood. I can't wait to see you in there.